Okay,
That's
Ruth.
really behind the scenes.
If I'd had some coffee.
When you're ready.
Hello, everybody. This is Vanessa Campos and Lynette Barbieri. Welcome to ETT Women TV, and we are so excited for this brand new. We're so excited to have our guest with us today, which is Ruth Scott from Cupcakes by Ruth. I'm pretty sure you've already heard of this fabulous woman. We're excited to have her here with us today. Let's start with number one, because I know we want to focus on how we met. Because obviously ETT Women is about networking and connections and how we met. And I know that you have a story and that you'd like to share.
Yes, we met networking. There was an invitation to a pajama party, somebody I met online, and it was at a hotel.
Not that kind of pajama party.
Not that kind of pajama party.
In a
It was
hotel.
a networking pajama party. We did not sleep there.
Clarify.
Let's clarify. There wasn't even alcohol involved. But Ruth had a table, and she had her fabulous cupcakes, and I remember the margarita. You made mini cupcakes.
Mini
The
margarita mamas.
cupcakes, and I remember you telling me it's the first event that you did too. And I remember you were kind of nervous, and I was kind of freaked out because I had pajamas on, networking, but I don't care. I'll network anywhere. And then we just developed a relationship. Met Vanessa. Always been
Yeah.
a supporter of ETT Women.
100%. And she was, and Ruth was also the recipient of our Connector of the Year in 2016 for
That's
the
right.
Power of Connections conference.
That's
So,
right.
sometimes we feel like we connect with someone, we meet them once, and then we lose touch or whatnot, and you never know how you're going to cross paths with those people again. One of the things that we've always continued to do is kept in touch through social media. I'm huge on social media, and we've kept connected online, and through the years since we've known each other, a lot has happened for you personally and business-wise, and you're coming fresh off the publication of this amazing book.
I am.
Which you got published through the Chew. Can you tell us a little
Through
bit
the
about it?
Chew, yes. So
It's a big freaking deal.
So everybody.
I'm validated. I'm validated now because
So
now the Chew approves. I am Chew
Exactly.
approved. So this book is the Chew approved. It's the most popular recipes from the Chew viewers.
Awesome.
So a little over a year ago, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to go on the Chew. And while I am the Cupcake Queen of South Jersey, I actually wasn't on for cupcakes. Crazy. I submitted several recipes. One of them was my mom's cheesecake recipe. One of them was the pimento cheese recipe. And I think another one was actually a bourbon bacon cupcake. And I think they shied away from the booze. But the pimento cheese recipe was the one that was chosen.
It looks yummy.
It is delicious. And I'm telling you, I don't even like pimentos, but it's really yummy. And it was chosen for the show. I presented it. We did our whole shtick, and then it was up on the website. And then people started clicking, and I started checking back, and people started clicking. And the next thing I knew, someone said, "Hi, this is so-and-so from the Chew, and we just want to let you know that because your recipe is one of the most popular of the year, it is going in the cookbook." And I was like, "What?
Amazing.
That's awesome!"
That's amazing.
So it was quite a process, actually. It was almost 6 months from that phone call before the book came out. And I feel very honored. I have Mario Batali did my little intro,
That's
which is
awesome.
cute. He wasn't there that day. I was a little disappointed. I adore him. I adore
Yes, I would love to
everybody.
meet him too.
Yeah, he's everybody there
I
on the
always
Chew was
follow him.
fabulous.
Yeah, I had
Carla
the
Hall is.
opportunity to meet him when I was on, and they are all just like awesome people.
They're
Yeah.
awesome, and it's genuine.
And
You
it's
feel that
exactly.
it's genuine.
What you see on the show
Yeah.
is what you see in real person. It's really fabulous, for sure.
It was a really great experience. I've had some other opportunities to be on other shows, and this one felt very different. And it was a lot of fun. And I think it translates into the book too, which is nice. It's all about entertaining and easy recipes and good times together with people.
So you're saying that for someone like me who, like, I was telling you before on our little before shoot, like I just dump everything in a bowl and mix it up and hope and pray that it comes out like the picture. But you're saying that it's easy enough that I'll be able to follow
Yes, it tells you how. Look, 1,
5 steps. That's
2,
easy
3,
enough.
4, 5. It's easy.
And
the
it's a
last one is,
sandwich.
Yes.
and it's a sandwich.
And it looks, show everybody the picture.
Yeah.
The sandwich looks absolutely
It
delicious.
is. It is so yummy. So, and it really does look like
I have
that.
to
It's
try
very
that.
ooey gooey.
Yummy.
I think my husband
So-
would appreciate that for
So
sure.
let me ask you a question. You are the cupcake queen, and they picked your food recipe, and you write and you do food and cooking classes with food as well. So how do you go from baking to food?
You know, there are different skill sets for sure. My world is more comfortable in baking.
Mm-hmm.
I love to measure and level off that flour. It makes me very happy. There is
I'm
comfort.
getting a mental image of that.
Exactly.
There's-
That's the part I hate.
No,
I don't want
love
to measure.
that.
I don't want to read it.
No, it's exact. You always know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always know what you're going to get in life, but there's a lot of control available to you when you bake.
That's a great metaphor. That's cute.
It is the metaphor of my life. I like and I enjoy control, so it's good. But so I grew up in food. My mom was a pastry chef. My parents she
Okay.
catered. My parents grew that into a restaurant. So really, I've grown up in food.
Okay.
Here's what I will tell you.
I grew up in food too, Ruth.
I know. I know.
Doesn't necessarily mean that you go that
No,
route. But
no.
Me and my sister
No,
grew up
it-
around a lot of food, and I cook and she doesn't. You have to want to do it.
Well, no. Here's what I would tell you to tell your kids: don't go into acting and don't go into food. They're two really hard industries,
Yeah.
and it's really people
Kind of
only
tough.
see
My
it's
little
very
guy
tough.
loves to bake, and my big guy loves drama. So I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Don't know what to say about that. Lawyer, maybe.
Yeah. Back to that meditation we were talking about, right?
Exactly.
But for me, my parents are both gone.
Mhm.
My mom has passed away, but we were very, very close. And so for me, I sort of have a little bit of my mom with me when I pull out her recipes.
Yes.
You know, so I
Could be one
feel
of
her
that
in the,
recipe got picked.
for sure. I feel her in the kitchen with me. You know, sometimes I feel her laughing at me like, oh, I cannot believe you used all that salt. You knew that was wrong.
That's cool.
But you know,
That's
it's a way for me to be closer to my mom, and then I
Yeah.
share it with my daughter,
Yeah.
and it's a way for us to
Who
sort
is
of
such a
Do
continue.
stuff
Your
together.
daughter,
yeah.
Your daughter's beautiful.
Yeah, she's such
Thank
a
you so
cutie
much.
pie, yeah.
She's 15, so sometimes she's cutie.
I have a 15-year-old too. They're beautiful. They're just not fun.
Yes.
But we
that's
love
what
them.
it is. For sure, I love her more than anything. So you know, that's how I ended up here. The secret ingredient is cupcakes is love, but
Yeah.
it's in everything that you create for it
Yeah.
to be shared, right?
Exactly.
So whatever that is.
What would you attribute your success from beginning to, because I know we were talking before, you were terrified, you mentioned networking, you mentioned, you know, there's a several elements obviously that go into, you know, waking up one day and say, okay, I want to pursue this as a potential business.
To a book in the chair.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
how do you know from point A to point, I think we could call this maybe M? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's not
maybe.
over.
It's not over, baby.
Never over.
It's not over.
Yeah.
M.2.
Yeah.
You know, when we met for the first time, that was my first time really out. Like, I had no clue what networking was.
Yeah.
When I was in school, there was nothing to teach you about networking. That did not exist. Now it's a different world.
Me either when I went into
Yeah.
business. And when I networked, it was all men mainly. And nobody cooked.
Right.
It was professional services
Right,
mainly.
right. It was a different world. And I'm glad our kids will have that experience. You know, they'll have the opportunity for that education, but nobody taught me
Right.
how to set up a table. Nobody taught me how to work a room.
It's sad, but you have to
Right.
wing it.
Yeah.
Nobody told me not to shove my business card in somebody's face.
You did a good job that day.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we're still here,
Well,
so
I
that's
think,
good.
and to that point is, you know, I think people overthink networking. Like they have to all of a sudden turn into a
I
different
have to get
person.
business. I have to. And
Yeah, no, that's-
when-
it doesn't work.
that way.
Maybe if you're just yourself, you would
Yeah.
actually connect
a
with
friendship.
people, and
Yeah.
they will want to do business with you.
Exactly.
I realized early on that I was my brand, that there
That's
wasn't anybody else that was going to represent me.
Right.
Yeah.
That I could have the greatest logo, which I love my logo. I could have the greatest product, which of course I do, but nobody was going to represent
That's
me,
right.
and nobody could sell it unless I was part of that
Because
experience.
nobody loves it like you.
Yeah.
Nobody loves it like me. Nobody knows it like I do. I think that people don't always realize they are their brand.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be anybody else but
Yeah.
me. And I did try. I did. It didn't work very well, and
No.
it was really uncomfortable.
And and then it becomes harder for you to
Right.
connect the dots, and you're like, but I want this client, and it's not registering it because you're overthinking the
Yeah.
process, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
just, if you're loud, be loud. If you're who you are, like, be who you
Yeah,
are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And definitely, I'm huge. You're speaking my language, girl, because I've always said that to everybody. It's like, you don't realize, and sometimes I understand that the hiccup may be for people that they don't want to be visible, right? Because there's like that, oh my God, but people are going to know who I am. That's the point. Like, the minute that you decided to get in business, guess what?
Yes.
Your life is not this little bubble anymore.
Yeah,
and if you want to
especially
have, and if you
now.
want to have a reach, which you can, because now you literally have reach at the tip of your fingertips with social media. It's so amazing the reach that you can have.
Yeah.
Then you kind of have to, like, suck it up, Sally, put on your big girl pants, and, you know, keep going. Yeah. And get out of your way.
I actually had this conversation with somebody the other day, and sometimes I talk with people about it and say, and it's based on price point.
Yeah.
You know, your client will self-select
Yeah.
based on price point, but your client will also self-select based on your brand, based on who you are, based on your product, based on
your relationship.
based on your relationship, and that's okay.
Yeah.
My person is not for everybody. My product is not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. It's not personal.
Yeah.
It's business.
That's right.
And not everybody's able to separate those two, and certainly I wasn't always able to.
No, you have to grow into it. It
You
takes
have to
a lot
grow
of
into
time.
it.
Yeah.
So I would say that if you haven't networked, you need to network. Get out and network with these two. They are incredible. But you do, honest to God, have to find a supportive, nurturing group.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you guys
That has your
definitely
back.
offer that, and that's why we connected
Yeah.
on the level that we did.
Yeah.
But you have to find your tribe.
Yeah.
In networking and the people that support you as you're struggling to grow your business or transition from one business to another.
Yeah.
But networking, it was tricky.
Yeah.
It is, but you have to learn it. To me, if you
Yeah.
don't learn it and
Yeah.
you can't build relationships, you won't be successful in
It's
business.
like
You
everything
won't.
you have to, you know, it's like a muscle you have to work, and
Exactly.
it gets better and better as you do.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned something. I was speaking to someone yesterday about, you know, the things that you do for fun while building a business, and I think, you know, just to touch on what you said, a supportive group of women, whatever it may be, of course, ETT Women is always available for anyone who wants to join, but I think it's important that people understand that you can't do this by yourself.
Oh,
You could try.
Yeah. No.
You could try,
People
but
waste many years
but you
trying.
you cannot
and
do
it
this by
doesn't work.
yourself. You can't do this by
No.
yourself. And you know, just like you said, once you know your clientele, you know, people will become evangelizers of your own brand and of your own
That's
business
true.
and propagate the message and whatnot. So you're on the. I think you're doing okay.
She's
Thank
on the
you.
move.
I think you're okay too.
She's on the move.
You know, when I started, I didn't wake up and say, I'm going to start a cupcake business.
Yeah.
Right.
Because in fact, when I started, I
It
did
was
research.
more like, what the heck am I doing?
Well, it was. So I
like, am I really starting a company?
I couldn't believe it. So I was always the cupcake mom. That's what I did. I needed to find out who my daughter's teachers were. I needed to find out who her little friends were. And the
I
way
bought
to
mine
do
at
that,
Sam's.
well, that's okay. It's all good. But I wanted to be there to see what was going on in her
Yeah,
world
yeah.
at school.
Yeah.
And the way for me to do that was to bring in cupcakes. And, you know, I couldn't just bring in plain old cupcakes because at the time I was a stay-at-home mom. So what else was I going to do but make them look pretty? And
But of course.
well, because I had to.
Yeah.
And so I'm still actually the cupcake mom. She still will
I'm
tell me on a
sure.
Wednesday that she needs it for Friday morning.
Oh
Wednesday at
my
9
God.
o'clock, I need it for Friday morning. But anyway,
All good.
it's all good. But, you know, I totally lost my train of thought. Cupcake mom
So you
at
didn't wake
school.
up, you just-
I did not wake up. No, I didn't. I found myself not married.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not part of the original plan.
Yeah.
And I pulled out my mom's recipes because I needed my mom in that moment. My mom has passed away, but that's how I connected with her. That's how I made her present with me. And then the house smelled good when my daughter came home, so
Felt like home.
it felt like home. We were both transitioning. I had girlfriends that came over. We sat and had a little day drinking sometimes, but it was not very often, and not a lot with the cupcakes. It was in the tea, and it really was, honest to God, tea and sympathy. They were there to support me.
Yeah.
And I made these crazy flavors, and they said, you should go out and really make these. You should sell these. I'm like, no one's going to buy these. And then I got talked into signing up for something, and I couldn't believe I did it. I was in a 1950s kitchen. I'm still in a 1950s kitchen, in a little bitty oven, and I made 500 mini margaritas. Little mini margaritas.
Wow.
It
How
was
long
a lot.
did that take?
It took much longer than it should have because I had to make sure I had the right tequila.
Oh, there you go.
No.
There you
You can't bake with crappy tequila.
Okay.
So I'm standing there with these catering trays at the door to my house, and I had a full-on panic attack. My girlfriend is in the car. She refuses to get out because she knew me, and if she got out, we weren't leaving the house. So she's yelling at me, "Get out here right now!" Not exactly those kind
those
words.
Right. It wasn't as kind as that.
It was not as kind as that, but everybody should have someone that pushes them. And I love your relationship because you guys balance each
Work
other.
wives.
You are. It's really a beautiful relationship to watch. It's really
Aw.
good.
See, honey?
Yeah, it's nice. I aspire to have a work wife. But you need people like that in your world to push you and outside your comfort zone. You don't grow if you stay exactly where you are in your little
Ever.
world.
But
But
I'm gonna keep you on a shelf in my house
okay.
to give those thoughts and advice to
Yes,
everybody.
you need that. You need that. Just put me. I'm not that tall. But I went to this food vendor experience. There were 20 other vendors there. Somebody from Cupcake Wars. That really freaked me
Ooh, that
out.
freaked me out.
They were on the show. They didn't win the show. And
Just saying.
just saying. And it turned out that I was the winner of this
Oh my
food
God, that's
thing.
amazing.
Oh, that's so
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
So
yeah.
it was really crazy. There was national chains there. There were caterers there, and I connected with the caterers.
That had to build your confidence
It
tremendously.
did. Because caterers I can talk to because that world I grew up in.
Right.
So I could chit chat with
Yeah,
them,
yeah, yeah.
and we connected. I didn't know I was networking because I just was.
And that's the way networking
I was
should
just
be.
talking.
It's natural.
I was just talking, and,
Yeah.
and we connected, and I guess they took pity on me and said, let me have your card, and I got some jobs from them,
Yeah.
and that's
That's
how
awesome.
it grew.
Amazing, yeah.
And that was the boost of confidence that I needed.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, maybe I've got something.
Right.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And now, almost 5 years later, so in August 18th,
Yeah.
it'll be 5 years, which
That's
is
amazing.
crazy.
That's so awesome.
That's
It goes like
amazing.
that.
It goes like that. And when I look back at who I was and where I've come,
Because of it, yeah.
it is a remarkable journey.
I always say, and I remember hearing this from someone that I went to a conference 2 years ago when I started my business. It's like entrepreneurship is definitely a lesson in personal development.
Absolutely.
I
You
did
thought-
training on that last night.
You thought you knew it all.
Yep.
You have
Yeah.
no idea. When
Yeah.
you're building your own business, it is not for the faint of heart.
And it never goes away. People asked me last
No.
night, well, are you still reading this stuff? Are you still, I'm like,
yeah.
all the
Always.
time.
Because I think that you get into this whole personal development kick that is never ending. You
It's
know,
never
you can
ending.
always learn more, you can always do more to not only improve yourself but to also improve your business, which is why we're always big on, our group is not just about business development, it's also about personal development.
Right.
So
which is the key to business. It
And,
I'm
really
glad
and that's why
you-
you guys definitely have a tribe. I
Yeah.
mean, you are
well,
one of the most supportive
It's-
groups around.
it's because you can't disconnect the two. You can't. You
No,
can't
no.
try to show up in business one way and then show up,
It doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work. I have this
Pom
conversation
poms,
with people all the
you
time.
know.
You're not working on the things I say, and then you go to do this and wonder
Right.
why you're here. It's
Yeah.
because this is so important. You
Yeah.
can't leave it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm starting to do some consulting with small businesses,
That's
and
awesome.
I sit with them, and I'm not a coach.
Yeah.
I'm not that person. If you're looking for a coach, I'm not that person. I don't want to be with you longer than 6 months.
Yeah.
If I'm still with you after 6 months, then I haven't done my job. But what I tell people is, you took the time, you put together a business plan, you put together a marketing plan, but you didn't put together a networking plan.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to put together a networking plan in the same way.
And a personal development plan.
And a personal development plan. You will waste your money.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'll spin your wheels.
And you'll wonder why.
And then you'll be one of those people that say, well, networking doesn't work.
Exactly.
I have all these business cards. I never got any business out of it.
Well, like you said in the beginning, people aren't taught to network. We
Right.
figured it out on our own and then figured out what worked, but we didn't
Right.
know it was working at the time because
Right.
it was a personality thing.
Right.
They need to kind of work on
Yeah.
that before they go out. And they'll-
Absolutely. And people need that training, and they need, you know, I think that I spend a lot of time by myself. Sometimes I go to a coffee shop just so that I'm around other people, because otherwise I work
You
alone.
have to. Yeah, you have to. Sit in Panera and
Yeah.
just, yep.
But nobody tells you that you can talk to people
Yeah.
everywhere and
Anywhere.
Honey, I've got business cards all the time.
Yep.
I have
And-
the dry
and your
cleaners in
business
line at the grocery
will come
store.
From everywhere.
the most unexpected
It
places.
could come from
Yeah,
a gas
absolutely.
station. You don't know
Yeah.
who's
My
gonna.
first gig when I started my jewelry business was from a doctor's office, and it was like I was taking my son to look at a rash, and the conversation
I love
started,
it.
and the woman loved my necklace, and I'm like, oh, but I make it, and she was like, well, we allow people to come here and sell stuff. I'm like, really? I'll be here next week, and
Exactly.
I
That's
had
awesome.
Exactly.
$1,000 in sales, for the first 2, and I was like, oh my god, like this is amazing.
You have to be
So-
aware everywhere
Yeah.
you go.
So you
and
have
your
to be
business has
open to
come
that.
up.
Yeah. I think people want to see other people succeed.
Yeah.
I really do.
I
think all
so
this
too.
talk about how mean women are to each other.
Yeah.
Can I really say what I want to say?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
I think that women, maybe it's who you pick and choose to be
And
a
it could
part
be
of your
some
world.
women, but not.
But the majority of women that I have in my world want to see me succeed. They want to see others succeed. We work hard to make sure that people that are just starting out, we
Yeah.
sort of bring them along.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
circle
how
you
it
need.
works.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
it's whether you call it karma or whatever you want to call it. It's
Yeah.
just it's
And
how I
the
run
thing
my
is,
world.
you never know where your next opportunity is going to come
Yeah.
from, and it's not like you're out like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I know strategically it's gonna like
Exactly.
it's
Right.
you just said it, karma.
Yeah,
it
it is.
all comes back.
It all comes back.
I mean, look, I am strategic about many things. Though.
And you have to be.
yeah.
Yes.
So don't
No.
you
yeah.
have to be.
Yeah.
But
there's time for
the
that
intention
Yeah.
is not strategic. The
No,
intention,
that's for sure.
The intention is
Yeah.
never strategy. And yes, you want to connect the dots. Believe me, I work
Yeah.
my world in the same way, but it's with great intention.
Mhm.
It's with honest intention, and it's with the idea of supporting each other. You know, so that's what it all comes down to. So if you had to give one piece of advice for someone who is getting ready to take the leap of faith and launch her business, what would you say to her?
Oh, just one. I would say
I know there's like 1,000.
there.
let's say.
Yeah, and it really was a leap of faith for me. I would say make sure that you do have in your world, whether it's a networking group or your next door neighbor or your sister-in-law or your cousin 5 states away, that you've got somebody
Who's supporting you?
who's supporting you.
Great point.
You the more the merrier, but you need to have that one person.
Stuff, and they're gonna run out and get your book and make the pimento cheese sandwich now.
It's yummy.
But I want to ask you a question. You said you're in business 5 years,
August 18th, it'll be 5
so
years.
you are where you are right now. 5 years out from today, whatever that year is, where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? One really goal that you have for 5 years from now.
Well, I am hoping to have a book published by the end of the year,
Okay.
and so of course I'll be doing world tours with that. I'm taking on more speaking engagements, which is something I really enjoy. I know it's shocking that I like to talk, but I do. I feel that I am very fortunate, and so I'm happy to share that information and sort of. If I can bring people along, if they can learn something, if they're inspired to take a leap of faith in themselves, that's awesome. One person, you only need to make a difference in one person's world, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And so it goes
That's
on.
huge.
So that is something that I would love to do. I would love to speak more to folks, and maybe I'll be on book number 3 or 4 by 5 years.
Did you do your vision board? Is this on
Honey,
your vision
a
board?
vision board
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on LinkedIn.
Cupcakes by Ruth. That's how I can find you.
Everywhere you go, it is Cupcakes by Ruth. I am true to my brand everywhere I go.
I
It's
love you. I love it.
it's
I
all
love
about
it.
the brand, baby.
Exactly,
It's all about the brand.
exactly.
Do not dilute that brand.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It was so much fun.
It was fun spending time with you. We don't see each other often enough.
Yes, we have to do it more.
And I loved learning about what you guys are doing too.
Thank you.
Awesome. Be sure to check out Cupcakes by Ruth and ETT Women TV on ettwomen.com. Thank you so much for joining us.